Hello, everyone. My name is Shane, and I have chosen ethical hacking and penetration testing as my subject for this presentation. Penetration testing is something that has become very interesting to me, and so I decided to dive into it a little bit more. And it was probably because I watched too much Criminal Minds as a kid, but I really want to know how Penelope does it, because she's high-key a badass. Anyway, so let's get into it. This is going to be a short introduction into ethical hacking. Alright, so right off the bat, we gotta know what the heck is ethical hacking. Anyway, ethical hacking, also known as white hacking, it involves simulating cyber attacks with permission of a company, organization, or individual. Basically, this means that somebody is hiring somebody to try and break into their system and find any potential vulnerabilities or anything that could exploit the company, organization, or individual. And we'll get into it later, but there are lots of different ways that ethical hackers use to break into these companies' security defenses. Alright, next we got penetration testing, which is a part of ethical hacking. There is a crucial part and involves identifying and exploiting the vulnerabilities in the system. And penetration testing really has so much more to go into, so I have more information on that, but I'm gonna hit on that later. Okay, so taking you through the methodologies of ethical hacking. First off, we've got reconnaissance, which is when a hacker gathers information about the target. This can look like searching Google for the company's website, social media accounts, finding the IP addresses, domain names, network structures, and gathering general employee information. Anyway, now, once the hackers have gathered that information, they'll identify the live hosts and open ports of the networks, and they'll use softwares like Nmap, which is a network scanner that discovers hosts and services known as scanning. Next, we've got enumeration. This is the process of collecting detailed information about the target, and this is a more in-depth than reconnaissance. Enumeration looks at user accounts, shared resources, system configurations. You can look at tools like Hyped is a brute force password cracking system. Another thing we have is phishing emails, which is a technique that can be used where employees are used to access information. Now, as you can imagine by this point, a fair amount of information is gathered and vulnerabilities become noticeable, and the white hat hacker can make an assessment. Once again, softwares like Nmap, Metasploit, Nessus, and Burp Suite are really good for this, looking for vulnerabilities in the system and application. Once the vulnerabilities are found, we move on into exploitation, which is when a hacker attempts to breach the system to get unauthorized access. Ethical hackers use these exploits to determine if an attacker could successfully breach the system. SQL injections and cross-site scripting are exploitative techniques that are used in this process. Finally, we've got the post-exploitation and reporting part. This is where an ethical hacker will assess the compromised system's potential to risk and then understand what the attacker could do with the access. And then this phase helps uncover potential data leakage or any future attacks. Now, because these white hats are working real hard to stay legit, they will document the process, the findings and opinions for improvement, and basically the whole process is documented in a journal. And that is it. That is the introduction to ethical hacking and penetration testing. I hope you enjoyed. Psych! Another thing I wanted to point out is just how many tools and techniques there are on this slide here, and I know I didn't touch on all of them, but go ahead and take a good look and take notes, because I certainly did.